Welcome back to the D-Max Touring Build mini-series. Today's episode I'm going to show you how you can create an off-grid water supply for not too much. Alright, well I hope that intro made this seem really easy because I haven't even started yet, but it's probably no secret now we are going to be fitting up a water tank today in my Isuzu D-Max. This might come as a shock, but we need water to survive, and if you go traveling, there are places where you can't get water, so you're going to need to take it with you. Some national parks, like some free camps and whatever, you're not going to be able to get a hold of any water. I'm going to take some with me. What I have here is a Camac 70-litre water tank. As you can see, it's got that baffle in the middle there. And I got that one from outbackequipment.com.au, not a sponsor, could be. Why did I choose a plastic tank? We probably could have fabricated one, absolutely. We could have out of some stainless or some alloy or whatever, but there's a couple of reasons. One, weight. Plastic tank is going to be way lighter, no question about it. Two, this is a food safe or food grade plastic, so we can use it for drinking water. You could do that obviously with stainless, you get the food grade stainless or whatever, but then third, cost. If you're going to go buy all the food grade stainless and then get the whole thing, cut and pressed and built, whatever, it'd cost a fair bit for a stainless tank. This one here was quite affordable. I think including shipping, it was about 130 bucks. So yeah, very good value, I think, and should do the job just nicely. What am I going to need to put with it? Well, I've got a range of taps and fittings and whatever from the big green shed. I've got a little bit of rubber here, which I'm going to use to line our 50mm by 3mm flat bar. So for mounting the tank, I'm sort of going to work on the theory just like mounting an old school fuel tank, just with the straps underneath. And then I will be using some M10, the 10.8 grade bolts, so they are strong as an ox, and I'll put them in using some nutserts. Now you can do a gravity feed tank, that's not a problem. A lot of people do that. They'll mount the tank up sort of as high as they can and just use a gravity feed to decant from it. However, I'm going to be using a pump, so same deal. Got this one from Outback Equipment. This is an Outback Explorer brand. It's very low amp draw, only got 3 amp draw, 4 litres a minute, and it's got an internal pressure switch of, I think it was 40 psi. Yeah, 40 psi internal cutoff switch, and it's got these nifty little rubber mounts. So I'm going to be mounting that nice and easy. Should be able to just put that on the chassis rail, I think. Now, as you can see, I've already got the D-Max up on the lift, so I was having a quick look at where I'm going to mount this thing. I want to stick it underneath the tray. That way it's not going to use any space, and I want to try and put it as far forward up towards the headboard as I can. If I do that, then that might leave me the option later of still running a short trundle draw out the back, if I so choose. So the other advantage of trying to have it all the way as far forward as we can is for weight distribution. You want to try and have as much of your weight over the axle as possible. So having that 70 litres of water, which with the tank and the straps will probably work out to nearly 80 kilos. Having that directly over the axle will be a really good deal. And I did some, rough measurements. I haven't tried to put the tank up in there yet. I did some rough measurements from the tank specs online, and it looks like it'll fit. I'm hoping it'll fit. Let's see. No Kurt today. I'm going to be the master fabricator. I'm the fabricator now. Okay, so let's try and make life easy. I'm going to drop the spare wheel, and then we'll see if we can slip the tank in. Couldn't be bothered taking the kid seat out to get the tools, so I found this with a flat end on it. Let's see if this works. Oh, success! Let's see if I can do this. This is going to be heavy. Oh, you big strong boy. no. Oh no. Damn exhaust is in the way. Alright, so that's the first snag of the day out of the way. Just going to drop the rear section of the exhaust and move that out of the way. And then sit the tank up in there and hopefully the exhaust will go back in. There you go. Oh baby, that is money. That is so good. Try and find a way to prop this up. So the tank is in and I've just sort of mocked up the exhaust. I've just sort of sat it up on its mounts just to see what we got for clearance. That is spot on. It sits perfectly in between the tray rails, and the exhaust is sitting quite close at the moment, but this will actually sit a fair bit higher up. So you got a good gap there, a good gap on this side for where my hose fittings go in, and it's pretty much hard up on the rail on this side, on the driver's side. Sits above the fuel tank, so it's just sort of resting just above the fuel tank there and above the exhaust. And like I said before, that will still leave me a bit of room back here for a trundle draw. So I'm pretty pumped on that. Let's see if I can, yeah, look at that. I guess next step will be to figure out my strap lengths, get a length, and then I will cut my flat bar to length and then work out where my bends have got to be. I don't have a press brake at all, let alone something that'll do 3 mil. So to get a nice tight bend, what I might do is just cut some little slots in the bar and bend it over, and then I'll have to take them to Kurt's and just buzz a weld over it to keep the strength. But what do you reckon, doggo? Good? Good bush? Yeah, good bush. Loves a good scratch. Alright, let's get into mounting this tank. Right, we've got to change the scenery. I tried doing this all by myself, but then Dad caught a whiff of what I was up to, and he said, nah.
I'm gonna sort you out, mate.
We got these little braccaroonies folded up, which was the plan, and then we're just going to bang that weld down there.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've got a bit of extra leg length here. These are going to be too long. When I sit them up there, it'll be hanging down below the tank a bit, but it's always to have more than not enough.
It's called green. It's green.
Green.
In the industry, when something's too long, you put a bit of green on it. You can always cut it back.
That's it.
But even if it's short, it's metal. You can weld more shit on as well. It's easy.
Metal's better than wood. If you cut wood too short, you're fucked. But with metal, at least you can join it back on. It's kind of like Play-Doh, isn't it?
They say that metal fabricators are like retarded carpenters. That's what they say. Because you can just fix your fuck up.
Look, I don't know many carpenters, but I can attest to your retardation.
That's why we hang out.
Bit different to be doing MIG, mate.
MIG is like the best. I love it.
Because you can get it done in 3.5 seconds.
A lot of these young fellas, they just think it's all TIG. The world is built on MIG, I reckon.
Yeah.
It's so easy. It's good.
We've got like hours and hours of TIG on the channel, but not much MIG. Look at that. Dunzo. Strong like bull.
Strong like bull, yes.
Thanks, bro.
No worries.
Appreciate your help. Now
Right.
I'm just gonna let you get back to doing what you do.
That's it.
Bit of it. You're going back to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
You poor dog.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna head back home and get this tank mounted up.
Do
Then I'll come around and I'll hose you from the end of the street.
That's it, man.
All right. Let's get back home. Remember I said I had a little bit of extra length on these. So I need to sit them up. I've got the tank just sort of mocked up in position there still. I'll put these up and I'll measure just how much gap I have between the strap and the tank, and that's going to tell me how much I need to take off before I give these a bit of a rattle can paint job just to protect them for the future. Yeah, about 40 mil. But I am going to put some rubber on the straps and above the tank just to take any vibration out and stop it from rubbing through the plastic. So 35 off each, that should give me exactly what I'm chasing. Mint. All right, now I've snapped my drill bit, but I managed to get the holes drilled in my brackets. So just giving them a spray paint outside while they're drying. We'll pull the exhaust and the tank out, so we can sit the brackets up, drill the holes in the bracing in the tray, and then we can start mounting the tank for the final time. Just before I took the tank out, I wanted to position where I was going to put this pump. Now, this pump I showed you guys just a little bit earlier, just a little 3 amp 12 volt pump. It's got a direction arrow on there that shows which direction the water goes. So I'm going to lay it this way, so I've got gravity feed into the bottom, and then the pump will then pump the water up and out. And I wanted to make sure I had a good spot for it, so this is where I ended up. So there's the back of the tank there, and I just got this little plate. It's about 120 by 100 mil. It's just some 1.6 mild steel, and because I was going to bolt it straight to that rail, but because the mounting feet were wider, I just had to put that plate on. So all I had to do was, I had marked out these holes. See how they're offset? That's just so it doesn't have a nasty like wiggle where it'll want to crack. So then I drilled through and put some nut certs into the rail there before screwing it in. These are flush head screws as well, so that's nice. And then this will mount up just nice behind the pump. Like I say, we'll have water in from the bottom and they'll pump out through the top, so that'll be good. And yeah, once we get the tank down, we'll work out how we're going to plumb it. It's getting warm in here though, Jesus Christ, it's humid. All right, now for real, I'm going to pull that tank and the exhaust out. There could be a design flaw here, and once I've pinned that at the front end, how am I going to slip the tank in? I'm going to get a bit of bend, oh, but not enough. May have to go back to the drawing board on this one. I may have to put a hinge in here. I think I'm going to have to put a hinge in there. That's okay, that's okay. Failures are learning opportunities. It's a new day. I started to spiral a little bit. You know, when things just aren't quite going your way and then you start getting frustrated and more stuff goes wrong, sometimes you've got to take a pause for the cause, go inside, have a nice dinner, have a good sleep, wake up fresh the next day and reset. So here we are. So hinges on the brackets. Although I thought the hinges would totally fix the issue straight up, it didn't. When you put the brackets in, they still get in the way of putting the tank in. So those brackets do work, but there's just like a bit of a, I guess, a procedure for putting the tank in, which kind of happens when you do this kind of custom stuff. So first up, you need to put the tank in under the tray and then pull it back. Once you pull it back, then you can put the brackets in and do the bolts up. And then once those bolts are up, you push the tank forward, flip the hinges up and secure the tank. So that's how I've worked it out anyway. It does work pretty well. It doesn't take that long. It's just like I say, just a few steps. But we've got the M10 nut certs there on the frame everywhere. So we've got threads to bolt into, which is mint. Oh, and I found a light too. So you can actually see under here today. And I'm more or less getting ready for a bit of a final assembly now. So I'm just going to show you guys how I'm going to plumb this all together. So the tank has two fittings. So you've got a 20mm BSP up top, and then you've got a 10mm BSP down the bottom. So you kind of got fill and drain, I guess. So the drain is what's going to go to the pump, and I had to get a little bit creative here because 10mm, I couldn't get a 10mm BSP to a 13mm barb for my hose. So what I ended up doing was just heating up this brass fitting with a torch, and then just screwing the 90-degree fitting on over the top and sort of melting and creating a thread. If this was on the pressure side, it might be a little bit dicey, but because this is on the suction side of the pump, I'm not all that concerned with it. I may still put a hose clamp over the top just to secure, but honestly, it feels pretty good. So that's just going to screw into the bottom there. From there, we're going to be using some of this drinking water hose. Hopefully it doesn't make your water taste like garden hose. I'm going to be running some of that from the barb there to this adapter. So this is a 13mm to a 10mm adapter. I need to step it down so I can get to this. This is about a 7mm barb on the pump, which is a little bit annoying, but you know, is what it is. So I'll go from that lovely turquoise colored hose to this adapter, then this 8mm food grade reinforced hose onto there. I literally can't pull it off this barb. It's so tight. I test fitted it and that's it. So that'll go onto here with a hose clamp, and then same thing on the other side, which will then go to one of these. So you can see I've got a spot there for fill and drain, and then this little square bit here for a switch. So in theory, this has a 40 psi pressure switch in it, so when I shut the tap and it sees 40 psi, it will shut off. Now, that's all good and well. However, when you're going out traveling, if you were to get a pinhole in the pressure side hose, this will then just see a pressure drop and start pumping your water out. So 4 litres a minute, this would have that tank empty in about 20 minutes or less. Is I'm going to power it just off a simple rocker switch. So that will go in there, feed, drain, happy days. And then once it's mounted, I'll wire it up. Mounted. Pump has been plumbed. Tank has both fill and drain points. We've plumbed it all back to this little bulkhead. So all that's left to do is wire it up. And I'd love to say that that's going to be a hard job. However, I've kind of inadvertently pre-wired this for myself. This is a little weather pack plug that I had running to the tray a while back as a bit of a temporary power source, just to throw my fridge in the back while I figured out what I was going to be doing with the car, you know, later on. So all I have to do is run from there to the switch and back to the pump and we're done. Just so I'm not cheating you too bad, I thought I'd show you how I did it, and it is actually really simple. I did it using one of these. If you've never seen one before, it's commonly known as a fuse tap, and it's a really good way of giving yourself just a little positive lead off your fuse box. I know it's a little bit dark, but in here is my fuse panel. It's just next to the steering wheel there, and you can see here is my fuse tap. So literally, you just take a fused circuit, you plug this in, and it becomes a double adapter. See? It's got the original fuse, and then it's got a second fuse for the tail. So I plug that in there. And what's even better is that if you have a look on the map, that one there is just a spare. Literally doesn't power anything, so we can't be overloading the system. And it's already set up as a 20 amp socket. Like I said, this pump's going to draw like 3 amps max. So all I need to do is get the other end of a MetroPack plug, or weather pack plug, whatever you want to call it, which is here. Go from there to the switch, from the switch back to the pump, and we're in business. How good is that? Usually I dread wiring. That took me like 10 minutes. So good. All right, let's, I'll put the exhaust up, put the spare wheel in, and we'll fill it up and try it out. What do you reckon? Sick. I've been waiting for one of these things for a long time. It's a game changer.